Hi everyone, Paul here. Hope you're all having a good day and this finds you well. Just to let you know, eventually I've got down to writing the book and my experiences in relation to land and house and the 30 odd years that I've been doing it. And Kelly from Kane Literary and Reid from Hay House, I really want to thank you for actually pushing me into this. And one of the lines that Reid said one night on one of the meetings, he said, "Don't mind talking, just write the book." And that was a big wake up call for me. And he's dead right. You just write the book, and there's many of us like that. And also, I have another motivation in that there was a man going back through my spiritual time that saved my life, Dr. Harvey Wasserman. And he was an amazing man, psychologist, but he traveled around to a lot of the indigenous people all around the world and learned many of the techniques and brought it into his practice. And I always said to him, "Harvey, you need to write the book. Keep that information alive and have it there for someone that needs it." And that's my motivation in this. The reason I do the healing of the land, I suppose, it's like a jigsaw. And each time we repair a piece of the land, we're repairing a piece of the jigsaw till we make the whole of the land or the country whole again. And to bring peace and joy and things to people. So I was born in the west of Ireland, right on the edge of Galway, overlooking the Atlantic, where they say the next parish was America, was New York. Brought up rearing cattle, cutting turf, saving hay, because that's the way it was. The only way we knew how to survive at that time. And my father and my mother had a very, very big connection to the land. And they knew what they got out of the land would sustain us for the next year. So they looked after it and they cared for it. And I think in a way that made me aware of the land. When I was very young, I started seeing spirits and they used to frighten me and push them away for a long, long time till eventually I suppose I was ready to come back to do the work again. Now, what am I going to cover in this book? Well, as I said earlier on, I've over 30 years experience in the land. And one form or another, I want to put it on paper. So maybe if only one person picks it up and it makes sense to them, that's good enough for me. So, we'll talk about the land and spirits. The land has spirits. I always see when I go on the land, the spirit of the land, the energy of the land. And we'll explain that in detail in the book, where we look at the cauldrons and how the spirit of the land can be fractured and how we repair it and bring back the flow again. And also remember, with land, when there's traumas and hurts and stuff on it, I call them imprints. To me, the land is like a human being. It remembers these things. It gets wounded. And our job in some way is to heal the wounds of the land. We'll also be looking at grounding and how to be ready to do the work. Now, that to me, this is one of the most important aspects of working with anything, is to be fully grounded. And we will go through techniques with you that I was taught by my teachers in Africa on how to ground and how to stand strong on the earth. Because if you can't stand strong on the earth, you're not grounded, you won't be able to do the work. And it's being ready to do it, through your preparation, through your energy. We'll show you stages and what you have to do to get ready to do the work. Because I believe that when we do the work, we need to be ready. We need to set up in ceremony. And to me, ceremony is so, so sacred. And we'll work and we'll talk with that. Of course, one of the big things, and I was blessed to be taught this many years ago by a fellow by the name of Joe Mulvaney, was how to divine. And funny enough, the first time I caught the rods in my hand, it was like I'd been using them all my life. So he taught me all the different anatomies, the teachings that needed to be taught for me to do the land and house work. We'll be taking you through that step by step and showing you how to do it. I believe they say 80% of the population can divine, but I believe nearly everyone can do it because all it takes is a little bit of patience and a little bit of perseverance and to get out of your head. So spirit release is a big part of the work. We talk about spirit release. Will be another area that we'll be looking at, another anatomy that we'll be looking at. So lots of times spirits are trapped. And they're trapped because of their belief systems, because of situations, because of attachments, many different things. We'll be showing you how to deal with that. And we'll be showing you how to release them, more importantly. One of the big things that a lot of the times we get called out for is geopathic stress. And what geopathic stress basically is rivers that run under the ground in a very simple form, and they give off a frequency. Now, if they give off the frequency of 7.83 megahertz, it means the frequency is balanced, and that's the frequency around your body as well. When the energy of the ley line or the geopathic stress line, the water line, the black line, it's called many things, happens, it distorts the frequency around your body as well. Thus, in time, causes sickness. So you can feel pains, aches, it can lead to cancer, different things. Then also, in another category, we'll be looking at different types of lines. You're saying, is there more lines than that? Yes, there is. There's spirit lines. And I've been telling you a story how I discovered the spirit lines, and maybe other people discovered them before. Who knows? Probably did. But this is my unique experience of how they came about to me. Fairy lines. You may ask, what are fairy lines? Well, fairy lines are lines, especially in Ireland, and I've got them in other parts of the world as well, that run between ring forts or fairy holdings, if you like. They have pathways in which they travel, like they're highways. Now, sometimes people build houses on them, and usually when they do, you find their washing machines or televisions or bulbs, all the kind of mechanical stuff starts going wrong, and there can be mayhem in the house, even up to infestation of bats, bees, wasps, all this kind of stuff. So that's a very important aspect as well, that you're able to work with them to heal that, to give a satisfactory situation to everyone that's involved, the people and the fairies. We also look at spirals and the blessing point. Now, the blessing point was taught to me by my African teacher, Peter von Mantes and Zimula. And any of you that have worked with me and done the work know what a blessing point is. But basically, a blessing point is something like a holy well on the land, and it can be dormant. So our job is to find it, activate it, and bring the life and the breath back into the place again. Spirals are when we get lines crossing, be it ley lines, be it spirit lines, be it fairy lines, and they create a vortex of energy, and they create a spiral, sometimes negative, and we need to deal with them. Other things that we'll be looking at, as you can see, there's a lot in it, is sometimes you come across, and not a lot, thank God, but we've experienced that dark energy that needs to be healed, and we deal with it. Ireland is a land where it was invaded, and the land was taken from the natives, from the indigenous people of this country. And what happened there was landlords came in, and they, for better words, they took the fat from the land, and the people were starving. So it led to famines, and it led to different things, and it also led to bitterness, begrudgment, and that. So the local people lots of times would have cursed the land of the landlord. So down through time, when the land came back to the people, and some people got this land from the government to start working on and to work with when the landlords were gone, the curse was still there. So we had to deal with the curses and learn how to break them. Memory, as I said to you earlier on, there's memory on land and imprints. Well, the imprints are to do with the memory, the fear, the grief, all these different kind of things. I remember one day I was walking a piece of land not too long ago, and I could feel this pain down the land. So we got down to the place where we felt the pain. In actual fact, what happened was a man had died in that place. The soul had gone on, but the pain and the memory and the imprint was there. Don't forget that the land is like a human being. It breathes, it remembers, and it holds the trauma, it holds the thing. And as I said to you earlier on, when the land is hurt, the spirit of the land is hurt, it may not be flowing the way it needs to be flowed. So the whole object of the thing is to bring everything back into balance. And how we're going to do it is maybe start with a story, an experience that I've experienced. Then we'll break that experience down, explain it as best we can, and then show you how to heal it. When we do the land, believe it or not, there's 20 different aspects of healing that we need to look for on the land to make sure that they're all in balance. And the object of the whole thing is to give the land back the way it was before we messed it up. So through this book, I've started writing it now, and it's getting the stories out of me and getting the stuff. And I go back to the motivation often I talked to Harvey Wasserman, Dr. Harvey Wasserman, and he died and he didn't pass on the information. And I believe that information has to be learned again. And whatever value my information has, my knowledge, my wisdom, at least when I put it on paper, it'll be there for someone to pick up. Just one person, maybe. And that to me is good enough. Because when I was on this journey and I started doing the work, I found that I was doing things and I didn't understand what I was doing. And I was asking people and they didn't know. And then eventually I found David Furlong, who wrote the book, Healing with Earth Energies. And I brought him to Ireland and we spent time with him. And all the questions I needed answered were either in his book or in his head. So that's the goal. And that's what I want to do. Thank you for listening. And oh, yeah, if any of you have any stories out there from our time with you on the land, because I can't remember them all, and you wouldn't mind sharing them with us, just email Melly at info@pathwayteaching.com. We'd be forever grateful. Thank you all for listening, and I hope you have a great day. Thank you.